Elena ignored both the envious stares from the crowd and Vaniel's flattery. She acknowledged everyone with an indifferent nod before ascending the stairs. Barnabas felt inspired, so he was eager to go next.
I've got to give it a shot, Zane. I can't wait any longer.
Taking a deep breath, he tried to stay calm as he walked up to the rock. He looked at Vaniel.
I'm Barnabas from Meadow City. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go next, sir.
Vaniel wasn't at all impressed. Barnabas looked just like the hundreds of others who had gone before him, but Vaniel agreed to let him try his hand at pushing the rock. Barnabas stepped forward, closing his eyes to relax his nerves. When he opened his eyes again, the blood energy in his body began to build up, and he crossed his arms to build up the force within him. When the force burst out of him, it injected itself into the rock. As the rock began to move, it emitted a low rumbling sound, and it kept on rolling until it stopped at exactly 10 yards. Barnabas's eyes lit up at the sight of his triumph, and excitement welled up within him. He looked back at Zane, grinning from ear to ear.
I'll wait for you at the next checkpoint, Zane.
Zane smiled and nodded, but his smile slowly faded once Barnabas had gone up the stairs and out of sight. The energy-sealing rock could suppress his vital energy, and he knew that meant he was at a disadvantage. While others were able to use techniques that didn't require vital energy, he was going to have to rely on his physical strength. He had been focused on practicing the Heavenly Sword technique and the Dragon Annihilation art, but they weren't going to help him much without the use of his vital energy. Some people had special energy circulation or extraordinary strength that didn't require vital energy, which made the task of moving the rock a piece of cake. Unfortunately for Zane, he hadn't cultivated such techniques, so he didn't know what to do. His mind raced, trying to think of a plan, but then his name was called and he was out of time.
Zane Martell from Kintyre County, please step forward.
Zane steeled himself, and with a determined look on his face, he took a confident step forward. He felt a cooling sensation when he placed his palm on the rock, and he could sense his vital energy being firmly suppressed by an unyielding force. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't do anything. His only hope was that his form of the Elder Wyvern would be able to manifest itself. So he took a deep breath and focused on his energy center. Every inch of his body tensed up, and he could feel his blood heating. As he clenched his fist, blue veins snaked up his arms, and with a roar, he punched the rock with all his might. Shock waves battered the rock, and it began to roll. Zane held his breath as he watched it slowly make its way to the 10-yard line. It was only the minimum needed, but he was still excited. As he approached the stairs, his heart pounded and his face was flushed. Even though Vaniel didn't look at him, Zane still nodded politely, and then he climbed up the steps. As he made his way up, a deafening sound rang out below him, and he nearly lost his footing. When he turned around to see what was going on, he saw that Kurt Colby had just sent the rock flying 20 yards away, leaving it embedded in the steps. The crowd stood in awe. They wondered who Kurt was and what cultivation method he had used. He had managed to throw the energy-sealing rock 20 yards away with one punch, and such a thing was unheard of.
I didn't see that coming. He must have undergone some sort of body conditioning. If I'd known we could use body conditioning, I would have used it too.
Even Vaniel was impressed, and he showed a hint of emotion for only the second time that day. Kurt was pleased with himself as he walked up the stairs with a self-assured swagger. He smirked when he saw Zane halfway up, but Zane was unfazed by Kurt overtaking him. He was impressed by Kurt's feat, and he sighed as he wondered what it would have taken to move the rock like that. Zane thought to himself,
if Kurt solely relied on physical strength, he must be formidable.
Zane walked up the spiral staircase step by step. Lush green plants lined the railings on both sides, and a strong and refreshing wave of vital energy pervaded the air around him. At the top of the staircase was a glowing gate, adorned with runes. It was guarded by a uniformed outer disciple of the White Wolf Academy, and the hopefuls who had passed the first checkpoint were gathered in front of him. A tall white marble monument stood there, but Zane was unable to make out the few characters inscribed on it. As a young man stood before it, the monument began to glow, and the illusion of a towering tree appeared, followed by more and more trees until it became a dense forest. Streams of vital energy descended from the sky, forming a vortex that made its way toward the first towering tree. 3 dim stars could be seen just above it, and everyone looked up at them with wonder.
A 3-star talent.
The White Wolf Academy disciple remarked emotionlessly to the man standing next to him.
You can move to the next level.
Zane recognized the test right away. Barnabas had mentioned it, and Eris had also told him about it. But no matter how hard Zane had practiced, he hadn't been able to get even 1 star to light up. He also hadn't managed to summon his form of the Elder Wyvern on command. He was lost in thought when he heard a familiar voice deliver a mocking taunt.
You may have passed the first hurdle, but you'll never pass this test. You don't have the talent to get into the 5 Spirits sect.
When Zane looked up, he met the eyes of Prince Jorah, who was wearing a White Wolf Academy uniform. When he saw the Divine Beast's insignia, he couldn't believe his eyes. He had never imagined that Prince Jorah was an inner disciple of the White Wolf Academy.
Can't wait for more? Catch the next episode tomorrow. And if you are ready to binge the whole series, download our app now. Tap the link in our bio to start your journey.